This time is calling for the most important work of all, the inner work.
Our job is to create such a safe space for all of us, including the mind that forgot itself, the emotions that may have not been regulated, that are super reactive, the body that has been trying to get our attention.
Who we are is not our past, nor our future. It is the pure presence.
If you can integrate warmth and loving and nurturing and safe presence that you are with the action-oriented doer, achiever, miracles will happen.
What will it take to release our defenses, insecurities, masks, and all that is false?
I believe that our spirit knew before we came into this reality, this time was going to be a very pivotal and important time of change.
When we feel, we heal.
Welcome. You have entered the realm of 1111 Talk Radio. Your host is Simran. It's time to discover your own language with the universe. Empower yourself, broaden your mind, open your heart, and discover who you are. Now, here's your host, Simran.
What does it mean to really do the work that we're here to do? And why is that critical now more than ever? If we look at the outside, it does seem quite distracted, very noisy. People are caught up in a lot of the things happening in the world. To tell the truth, there is a lot of fear out there for individuals that don't know how to regulate themselves, or perhaps have gotten disconnected from themselves, from their true selves. Today's show is going to center on bringing ourselves back to the core of who we are, to help us understand what to do with some of this frenetic energy when it comes up, and also how to deal with some of the emotions that might be rising during such troubled times. I'm really honored to bring to you a beautiful soul and a wonderful guest today, Emmanuel Dagher. His voice is pure, and the core work method that he provides individuals is something that can help you connect to your true self, heal the wound, help to empower your energy, your mindset, your alignment. Emmanuel Dagher has become a widely recognized thought leader, transformational catalyst, holistic therapist, and an author. He's known for his unique healing abilities, compassion, and fun, lighthearted nature. Welcome, Emmanuel. It's great to have you here.
Oh my goodness, it's such an honor to be here with you, my friend. I just adore you.
There is a lot of dysregulation. There are many people that are feeling the angst of whatever their perspective is on the times, and it can create reactivity or it can create a suppression of what's being felt that creates a different version of reactivity within the body. I'd love to hear about how you are seeing and feeling the world at this time and the most critical doorway that we must enter.
That's so powerful. Obviously, we're seeing so much change happening in the world, and our spirit loves change. It thrives on change because our spirit is malleable and always flowing and moving. But there's a part of us, the human aspect of us, that can sometimes be a little more comfortable with routine and structure and ends up becoming a little more rigid and sometimes even calcified in a way that makes us not embrace change. So what's happening right now is, although so many of us have been on the path of healing, and some have been on this path for, let's say, 50 plus years, our divine elders who have paved the way for so many of us. But what's happening is, in the collective, because so many people have been doing their inner work, it really sped time, or what we perceive to be time in this third dimensional experience. It sped that up tremendously. Simran, do you feel the past few years have felt much more quick than before?
I have felt that. That's really why there's this juxtaposition of energy that is even more palpable for many people. And so I love how you're framing that and would like for you to continue with your thoughts, but also help to reframe change. Change in whatever form that comes is part of our experience that we are here to embrace.
Yes. I do believe, and I just through meditation, through experience, that we all have a spirit. I believe that our spirit knew before we came into this reality, this time was going to be a very pivotal and important time of change. I believe that our spirit knew it could handle it. Otherwise, there's a lot of beings that have not come into this reality at this time to help usher in this change, this transformational time for so many. But going back to time speeding up and feeling like things are coming to the surface, now it's literally moment by moment. It's happening all the time. And although it can feel very chaotic, very challenging, there's also an opportunity for us to come back into presence, into the now, where we no longer operate on the hamster wheel of suffering and pain and the need to gossip and the what's next and, oh, I need to know what's happening in the news. That can happen. It's here and it's very accessible to us right now. But we are also being given the opportunity to get so still and so present. And that doesn't mean we don't take inspired action in our lives and be productive and stuff like that. It means that we are creating enough space in our consciousness, in our day, in our environment, where we are not caught up in the distractions, but rather seeing the bigger picture, almost like zooming out.
We may not be able to change everything that's going on outside of us, but regardless of what occurs, the true power lay within us and our willingness to take responsibility for that.
When so much light comes into our experience, we can't help but transform, and it works on a cellular level. We have the exact same components as the sun and the moon and the stars and everything. When those celestial bodies are being activated and evolving and growing, so are we. Although it can seem to the mind very scary, very fear-based, maybe a lot of in your personal life, like from childhood or experiences of trauma and pain, a lot of stuff is resurfacing. Even if that's happening, just know there's a deep inner knowing, there's a deep spiritual essence within you that knows how to take care of it. And our job, and this is where my passion comes in, especially with the core work and really getting to the root of everything, especially when it comes to healing, is to create such a safe space. Our job is to create such a safe space for all of us, including the mind that forgot itself, the emotions that may have not been regulated, that are super reactive, the body that has been trying to get our attention. So just us, our capital U, capital Y self, your I am presence, connecting with that part of you and allowing that to be the space holder, as if it's like a divine grandmother energy of unconditional love, or like a ancient wise oak tree, or this loving presence, and becoming that and making that the daily top priority, so that that part of you can then start pouring in that love into your mind and letting your mind, even though your mind may have been focused on coping and protecting itself in ways that have not necessarily been feeling good to you, maybe survival mode or whatnot, as we connect more to our I am presence, our divine self, and just allow that part of us to hold and love and honor the mind will no longer fight against you, but rather it will start to soften into you and work with you. And what's happening in the world is the collective mind has been so vilified, whether we learn about it in religion, the devil, evil, shadow self. We have to get rid of it. We have to, even in new age spiritual talk, we hear that. Of course, it's going to literally fight to protect itself in ways that are very survival oriented, as we are seeing in the world on the grand scale as well. If we bring in compassion, understanding, safety, really creating that space, that warm space, and maybe we never had that. Maybe our parents were not like that. Maybe they were not warm. That's even more opportunity for us to become more of that for ourselves. And when you become that parent, the concept of reparenting your inner child and letting them know that they're not stuck in the past, they're not being left behind, but rather they are here with you and you are loving them every day and checking in with yourself and honoring yourself. And so you do this for the mind, you do this for your body, and then within just a few weeks, you'll start to notice your nervous system is going to start softening and regulating. You're going to start feeling more peace. You're going to start being in your power, making choices and decisions that come from a relaxed state rather than like a desperate or hypervigilant state, which is what, if you're constantly embarking on watching the news or things like that, that's asking you to move out of yourself. So the key is really to come back to yourself and create that space of healing.
Feel the purity, so generous with outflow. Feel the infinity moving in a way that is neutral and pure so that you do the work that you're here to do.
I grew up Catholic. I know a lot of people listening grew up some form of religion that has a martyr complex where we're always having to sacrifice and put other people ahead of you and make sure everyone else is taken care of before you. And although that can be endearing, it really depletes us from showing up for ourselves fully. So if we can reverse that and become that presence that we have the reference point now, because we are such givers to others and caretakers and just loving, we know how to do that for others. Now bring it back to yourself, use that as a reference point, really dive into this deep, safe, loving space for your inner child, your mind, your body, so that you can heal and then see what happens. See how you show up in the world and how much more impact you'll make as a result.
There's so much in that transmission, and there are points that I want to get back to. I feel like these times, with the frenetic energy that they hold, with the stark contrast that can sometimes be there, it feels like a balancing to me. It feels like a necessary function of turning us back inward. It might even feel like a second version of the Big Bang of creation, simply obliterating things so that we begin from center again. You brought up the older generation's healing work and that was part of our function. And it was part of our function. In that, we also passed along to the younger generations like yourself the parts that we didn't quite get healed or where we were unconscious before we could heal. That's the part that new generations must take on. Talk about that next layer of healing for those generations, how similar and distinctly different than the generations that came before.
Wow, that's really powerful. Thank you for that question. The younger generation right now, although we have had the foundations laid for us, there's such hyperstimulation and there's this constant outflow of external seeming, let's say, external distractions and noise, and whether it's social media, being online, all those things that are very helpful. They can be wonderful things, but if we don't have a deep knowing of ourself and a deep awareness of spirit and connecting with that divine I am presence, then we can get lost in a lot of the noise. So ultimately, what I would say is for the younger generation is to actually turn off your social media from time to time and get back to nature. Come home to yourself and really ask questions like, what brings me ultimate peace? What allows my heart to sing? What can I do to create more joy that isn't fleeting, that isn't going to just rely on the next like or whatnot that a lot of these kids are relying on? And the one thing that I really enjoy, and I'd say I'm more of a millennial, but Gen Z is more like this. They tend to have no filter. So they're very, what you see is what you get. They're very, or at least from having worked with so many clients in that age group, they're just who they are. So that's something that I think maybe the older generations had issues and they struggled with just because of how their parents were and how much maybe expectations or things that were placed on them, rules, regulations. But now these kids are just being more of their self. Now, being more of yourself sometimes to the older generations may not feel welcomed. They might have a hard time with it because it's like, oh, we didn't have this way of expressing ourselves. We didn't share things just because we thought it and then we just said it. So there's a little bit of discord there, but I think that's going to work itself out and soften eventually. But ultimately, for the younger generation, I would say just try to go to a space of creating less noise if you can. And if you can't, try to allow that noise to be balanced with noise that feeds you and inspires you instead of makes you feel bad about yourself or feel like you have to compare or compete, things that may make you not feel safe and comfortable. And then come back to the stillness, the presence, create a spiritual practice like meditation, yoga, breathing. There's so many different things. Even a nice walk can really be helpful. But giving yourself space between you and the noise, and the noise is going to get louder because we are seeing whether it's artificial intelligence or different things that are going to be coming down the road, like a lot of healing that's going to be very scientific and artificial based. All of that is exciting. It's wonderful. But at the same time, it can be really loud. And if we are always looking out there for the next thing, which a lot of the younger people have kind of been conditioned to do, then life's going to be really challenging until you turn some of that off, create some of that space so that more of that balance, as you had said, Simran, will come back in.
If we look at both ends of the spectrum generationally, whether it is the older generations not quite able to hear the younger generation's way of language, or whether it is younger generations' absorption into the external world and everything that's happening, it sounds like a precursor would have to do with detachment. Perhaps older generations need to detach from the world as well as their projections of what they believe younger generations should be. And for the younger generations, it sounds like a detachment from the external or from the types of behaviors that you have shared, which lead us away from ourselves.
Mm.
Share a little bit about detachment and to be detached from pain in the world or what they see as the shiny bauble that's going to be their freedom.
Mm. That is powerful. And it's so funny because detachment is like one of my top things that I create and cultivate a practice around. And ultimately, the more you connect to yourself, the more detached to the illusion you will be. So the more connected to the truth of who you are, creating the space for that to unfold and blossom in your life, it becomes so much easier for you. As an empath, we know a lot of us are sponges and we can feel other people's energies, or even if you enter a room, ultimately, that part of us that is empathic, that is sensitive, has been conditioned to numb ourselves just to get by in life or isolate often. I still do that sometimes because it's just really loud out there. And when I isolate, it's not something that feels bad to me. In fact, it recharges me. It allows me to feel like I'm putting into myself. And because of the work that I do, and I'm so passionate about helping others remember this for themselves, reminding them of the divinity that's always been within them and the wholeness and the perfection and the love and the peace, and creating steps and spaces for them to move in that direction so that eventually they can do that for themselves and others. But if we are constantly doing that whether we are conscious of it or not. Because a lot of, a mom is always doing that for her kids. So they're not maybe conscious of always outpouring their energy. One of the most effective ways of detachment, the mind wants to think like, oh, does that mean that you just don't feel, you don't associate? No. Detachment is simply seeing with such eyes of compassion that you no longer are entangled in the web of illusion.
The core work method is an energy healing technology that comprises specific processes, tools, and experiences to help you consciously identify and release the things that are not serving you. The core work was birthed from Emmanuel Dagher's psychology background, specializing in integrative therapy and healing practices, and has since its inception supported thousands of people from around the world to move beyond debilitating emotional, physical, mental trauma and blockages, preventing them from living their happiest, healthiest, and most vibrant lives. The core work method has also served as a practical and down-to-earth guide to self-realization and spiritual awakening for many. I invite you to visit Emmanuel Dagher's website, emmanueldagher.com. That link is in the bio description below, along with a link to a special gift at expand.emmanueldagher.com/special gift. Be sure to click that and register to get your special gift. Join my Substack. My publication is Beyond the Illusion, and you can find it at iamsimran1111.substack.com. That link is in the bio description. You'll actually receive all of the 1111 magazine issues on audio as part of that, in addition to the weekly prompt, inquiry, contemplation, and meditation that I provide to all of the subscribers on the annual membership. That link is in the bio description. We'll be right back after these messages.
You are listening to 1111 Talk Radio. SIMRAN is an award-winning author, publisher of 1111 Magazine, powerful speaker of wisdom, and a life mentor. Find out more at iamsimran.com. Now, back to 1111 Talk Radio.
I really enjoy working individually with people. If you're looking for some additional support and guidance, and you really want to dive into the subtle, then there are quite a few options on my website at iamsimran.com that have to do with shadow work or manifestation if you want a more focused approach on a particular thing, as well as individual sessions around deciphering signs, symbols, and synchronicities, gaining a better understanding of how the universe is speaking to you, your particular dialect. That link is in the bio description. The core work method anchors you in the present, reawakens memories of your wholeness and perfection, and reconnects you to the very source of your soul self. This act of reconnecting to your divine intelligence will then empower you to create your future consciously and intentionally. And this is the work that Emmanuel Dagher does with people all over the world. He's a recognized thought leader, transformational catalyst, holistic therapist, and he has unique healing abilities that allow for his compassion and fun and lighthearted nature to come through to support you. He teaches people how to heal themselves through this core work method. Tap into his YouTube channel, sign up for his newsletter, and be sure to go to the link below and register for the special gift at expand.emmanueldagher.com/special gift. Welcome back, Emmanuel. I was very resonant with all that you said about detachment.
When you hear things from the government, news, and all, we're seeing all that right now. It can be so easy to get caught up in it because it seems unfair, unjust, like I can't believe this. And you have every right to have those feelings. But after those feelings are processed, take that extra step to tap into the part of you that can see beyond the illusion. What's really happening here? You said it so beautifully in the opening. You were talking about balance. even though it's not looking like we had expected it to, especially those who've been doing the work and on their path, we can still have that love and compassion and understanding for what is, so that we can continue to elevate the consciousness to the point where eventually, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, peace will become a real thing in this world. Justice and compassion and love and community and all those things that I envisioned when I was thinking about where the world was headed, more of a heart-centered reality. Although I'm not necessarily seeing it on a global scale, I'm definitely seeing it on micro scales. The more we focus on seeing beyond the illusions and the stories and the fabrications. By the way, a lot of what's being presented to us may not necessarily be the exact thing that's going on. What I would invite everyone listening to do is create the space within yourself to focus on you and the relationship between you and yourself. Ultimately, I think the most spiritual and most loving thing we can do is to turn away from that and focus on building our relationship with ourselves, so that we have such a strong capacity for compassion. Then we can start going back out into the world from that space. And compassion is not to be mistaken with sympathy. Sympathy is feeling sorry for, lowering your energy, kind of going into this idea that something's broken or it needs to be fixed. That's not what compassion is. Compassion is being able to hear and see and understand this person is going through something, or the world is going through something, but then understanding that there's a part of them that comes from an essence, a source, a creator, a God, whatever you want to call it, that is perfect, that has never been hurt or harmed in any way. Being able to just know that, even visualize that, and seeing yourself sending that person love that you have been triggered by so much or angered by, being able to have so much love and compassion for that energy signature, that person, that place, that experience. Eventually, you're going to create this space for humanity to do the same for themselves. If the whole world is at odds and not in a good space, but there's one person, just one person on the planet that is able to do their inner work, feel the connection with themselves to such a degree so they are no longer attached, they are fully detached from the illusion, by being in their compassion, by being able to see the essence of who these people are and what's really happening, the world will eventually come to that space of that person's vision and the person who's holding the light for humanity. That's similar to the story we know about Jesus and Kuan Yin and Buddha and all those wonderful sages that were examples during a very dense time. They were able to hold that space and be the light so that others could ascend into that for themselves. We can do that. We have the power to do that. You are that powerful. You are the universe. You are beyond the universe.
My own trilogy that I wrote, that was the ultimate awareness that I came to as well, that one person can change this world, and we each are that one. I allowed myself to feel all of the feelings that an empath has, but to consciously bring them to a place of neutrality. That is how I got to compassion, seeing myself in the other, seeing the other in myself, building that bridge for compassion. We live in a world that wants the quick fix, pop the pill to get it done right away, find the fastest route to something. Us all having our own unique wounds and perspectives. What is the bridge to embodying that place of compassion that you're asking everyone to hold?
So, you know what's interesting, as you were sharing, that is one of the foundations to the core work, the thing that I'm so passionate about, which is to begin by feeling, connecting with all the emotions that are coming up. If it's okay, I would love to lead the audience through a process to see how they can go from a certain emotion to coming back to the peace, which is the undercurrent, the truth of who they are.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to invite everyone just to close your eyes and receive a deep breath in. Just allow yourself to feel the chair, the bed, couch, wherever you're sitting. And as you exhale, feel yourself relaxing more deeply. You are supported. Receive another deep breath in and release, feeling more relaxed, feeling the support of that object lifting you, carrying you. And one more deep breath in and release. One of the most important aspects to healing is to notice. Noticing any sensations going on in the body, noticing any emotions that the mind is communicating to you. If something is bothering you, think about something in your life, maybe the past few months, past few weeks, today, something that has been a little activating for you. It could be something you heard, it could be a message you received, whatever it is. I want you to think about something in your life that you would like to be more peaceful, more enjoyable, like there's an outcome you prefer over the one you have. Reflect on that for a moment. Once you get clear on that thing, ask yourself the following question. How does me thinking about this make me feel? See what comes up. If you're feeling disheartened, angry, frustrated, worried, stressed, allow that to fully be acknowledged. And you're already acknowledging it by allowing it to come up. Usually, because our body is an extension of our energy, our spirit, so it's going to communicate in its own way about some of these emotions and feelings around that theme, that subject, that thing that was causing us maybe a little discomfort. Your body's also going to tell you where that discomfort is. So, for example, when I think of something that causes me a challenging time, usually I feel it in my stomach, a little bit above the belly. But for you, it could be in the heart and the chest. It could be in the shoulders. It could be in the jaw. Some people feel it in their temple, their headache. Allow yourself to notice when you think about that thing and the feelings that it invokes. Where do you carry that in your body? Allow yourself, whatever feelings that come up in that part of your body, discomfort, tightness, pinching, whatever feelings you feel, allow yourself to sit with that for a moment. And sometimes it takes just a moment, sometimes it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But the key here is you are showing up for yourself. You are loving yourself by honoring the discomfort, by sitting with it. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to figure out why it's happening. You don't need to try to get rid of it. You don't need to push it down, as so many of us have been conditioned to do, and ignore it and just move on. All you're doing right now is feeling the physical discomfort that the emotions and the thoughts about that thing that brought you a little discomfort are causing you. So just sit with that. And your mind might start to wander and know, what am I going to eat for lunch, or this and that. Thank your mind if that happens, because the mind is protecting you, because that's what it does. And when things are a little different, when there's change happening, it'll go back to those coping methods until you show it that there's safety and it doesn't need to do those things to try to make itself feel safe. Go ahead and breathe deeply into that part of your body. So let's say it's in your stomach. Deep breath and release, feeling and noticing a little more deeply. Imagine there's like a firm grip, hand like in a firm grip there. Observe it. place an open, loving hand on top of that firm grip with a loving, warm, kind, open hand, just maybe caressing, letting that other firm grip know that they're here. Feel more deeply into the discomfort. When you give yourself just a few minutes of acknowledgement, you're going to notice a softening, a release. And that is your body saying, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for acknowledging me. Thank you for allowing me to get your attention. When that softening happens, even if it's a slight sensation of release or peace, express deep gratitude to your body. Thank you, body. We love you so much. Thank you, mind, for allowing the body to carry this and hold it to try to get our attention. Thank you, mind, for the emotions that you are communicating, telling me that I need to focus on loving and acknowledging you a little more, rather than trying to vilify you and make you this thing that we've been conditioned to believe that it is. Without your mind, you wouldn't have this experience. You wouldn't be able to have the gift of sight, sound, taste, touch, experience, processing information. That's what your mind is here for. And when it has consistent love and compassion and understanding from your awareness that you are right now, it's going to come back to a state of peace and ease and allow itself to return to what it came to do, rather than be the nonstop 24/7 protector and survival. Now it's going to start becoming, oh, I'm going to enjoy a sunrise. I'm going to look at this hummingbird on the flower. I'm going to listen to music and feel it and really connect with it deeply and dance. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to sing. I'm going to play. I'm going to work. You're really going to connect more deeply because you are the observer. You no longer have to be the reactor. From this space, just check in with yourself constantly. Is there more softening occurring? And if not, just sit with that grip until the softening occurs. And when that softening occurs, see that firm grip open up and take the other hand with love. Seeing those hands being held together with so much compassion, so much love, gentleness. Bring your awareness back to that original thought of that thing that was causing you discomfort. Do you still have the same exact charge around it as you did before? If so, then go back to the steps. How did this make me feel? Maybe there's some other feelings that need to be processed, like helplessness or sadness. You sit with that, where that's being held in your body, as long as you need, until you come back to your true baseline self underneath that, which is peace. Because sadness is not who you are. That's just an experience, a coping method. Go into the peace, and then you express the gratitude for your body, your mind, and then you check back in, you keep checking until you feel the peace. And that's one simple thing you can do for yourself every day to start helping your nervous system feel safe. And there's so many other ways. There's breathing, there's tapping, there's so many wonderful things. If your nervous system feels safe and regulated, you're going to heal, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, financial issues. All of those things are going to heal because they already know how to heal themselves. All you're doing is you're literally creating the space for them to do what they naturally are here to do. And that is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. So let's go ahead and open your eyes, take a deep breath in, give yourself a big hug. Just thank your body again, thank your mind for this wonderful experience that co-created with your I am presence, your directional observer self. We are so grateful. Shaking it out, wiggling the fingers and toes, making sure you feel the earth beneath you. And that's it. That is your simple step to helping you come back to yourself, to start quieting the noise, regulating the nervous system, and eventually a lot of the traumas, a lot of the emotional things that you've been carrying from childhood or whatnot will start to lose their fire. You will no longer feel like you're on a loop that are being activated by those things. Now you're creating a new path for yourself. Thank you for letting me share this.
Thank you, Emmanuel. That was beautiful to experience. What was also really clear was that that level of presence is what changes this world through our own personal acts of self-love, self-compassion, self-acceptance, self-regulation. So it does boil back down to the self when it comes to creating the energetic alignment to shifting our world.
Yes, yes, you are the 0 point field. Everything in your experience, if it's causing you anything other than to be yourself, is just a reflection of how we are treating ourselves. The deeper, the stronger, the more love and compassion and understanding we have for ourselves, that's how the world around us is going to start, at least our immediate world is going to start mirroring that back.
And it's that meeting of self, that embrace of humanity, that is the bridge to this whole conversation that you have about experiencing the infinite, connecting to the source, not only as source externally, but source internally.
Yes.
So often we get in the head and think we're in the heart. We think we're feeling. We think we're connected to source. But ultimately, that's all thinking, not necessarily actually integration and being in the body and the heart.
Yes. And even as a thinker, right? Somebody who thinks a lot, giving myself grace and the space to do that and see the value in that, but also creating room at the same time. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can actually have both. So if I have compassion and I've cultivated a strong compassion for the part of my mind that sometimes is hard on myself or is analyzing or is thinking, imagine what's going to happen. It's like, whoa, we can also talk about the divine masculine and feminine. That's basically another way of saying that. If you can just integrate that warmth and loving and nurturing and safe presence that you are with the action-oriented doer, achiever, miracles will happen.
Miracles will happen. This is a beautiful, whole, complete, abundant love and a peace-filled eternal beingness that is within you that is here to expand. Check out the core work methods, practical tools, processes, and straightforward steps to help you bring yourself back to the original understanding and experience of your true soul self. Again, you can go to emmanueldagher.com, go to expand.emmanueldagher.com/special gift, and both of those links are in the bio description below. Emmanuel, thank you so much for being on 1111 Talk Radio, for providing such a beautiful experience and opening your heart to these listeners, generously giving of your overflow.
Oh, I feel the exact same way about you, my friend. Thank you so much for being so present and available for humanity.
It is always a pleasure to receive, and when we can hear the voices and the philosophies, the teachings, and the gifts of another, it allows us to open our hearts and our energies to receive even more. In each moment, ask yourself, am I open to receiving? What am I ready to invite into my life? And if that is the next step of healing, if that is deepening into your core, then the core work method. Thank you so much for spending time. If you're looking for some additional support and guidance, and you really want to dive into the subtle, then there are quite a few options on my website at IamSimran.com that have to do with shadow work or manifestation if you want a more focused approach on a particular thing, as well as individual sessions around deciphering signs, symbols, and synchronicities, gaining a better understanding of how the universe is speaking to you, your particular dialect. That link is in the bio description. Until next week, I am Simran, in love, of love, with love, and as love. Be well.
Thank you for opening your mind to a new reality. your heart to greater compassion and your experience of aliveness with 1111 Talk Radio. Join host Simran next Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Time to step through the gateway of conscious living. You are not on the journey. You are the journey.